What if I told you that the entire blueprint for the world's biggest democracy, I'm talking its identity, its freedom, even its future, was all laid out in a single document? Well, today, that's exactly what we're diving into. We're exploring that cornerstone of modern India, the Constitution. But hang on, before we jump right into India's story, let's just take a step back and ask a really basic question. What even is a constitution? Like, what's it for? Okay, so here's the simplest way to think about it. It's the nation's ultimate rule book. Seriously, it lays out the whole framework for the country, how it's going to be run, what the government is and isn't allowed to do, and this is the big one, what rights and responsibilities belong to every single citizen. And thinking of it as a rule book is so important. It's not just a dusty old book with a list of suggestions. Nope. This is the master plan for everything, from the parliament that writes our laws to the courts that make sure everyone follows them. Now, this date, January 26th, 1950. It should definitely look familiar, right? This is the exact reason we all celebrate Republic Day every single year. It's the anniversary of the day India's very own rulebook officially came into effect, making it a fully sovereign republic. But a document this important, this foundational, it doesn't just show up out of nowhere. The story of how it was created is just incredible. It's a story of huge effort, intense debate, and a really powerful vision for a brand new nation. Just look at this timeline. It gives you a sense of the massive scale of this project. Right after independence, a group called the Constituent Assembly was formed, and for 2 years, 11 months, and 18 days, let that sink in. They debated, they drafted, they refined. That amount of time alone tells you how dedicated they were. And right at the very center of all that hard work was one absolutely towering figure, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He was the chairman of the drafting committee, and his incredible legal mind and his deep, deep commitment to social justice really shaped every single page. It's no wonder he's called the architect of the Indian Constitution. So what was the final result of all that effort? Get this. The original Constitution had 395 articles. That made it, and still makes it, the longest written constitution of any country on Earth. And that was on purpose. The idea was to create a super detailed guide for a huge and incredibly diverse new nation trying to solve its unique challenges right from the very start. Okay, so we've covered the history and the sheer size of it, but now we're going to get to its heart. Let's talk about the soul of the Constitution, the core ideals that are meant to guide the whole nation. It all kicks off with the Preamble, which people often call the soul of the Constitution. It's like a mission statement. It declares that India will be a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Every single one of those words is a powerful promise about what kind of country India aims to be. And the Preamble doesn't even stop there. It goes on to lay out 4 foundational ideals that the new nation would promise to all its people. Justice in every form, liberty of thought and belief, equality of status and opportunity, and fraternity, this idea of building a shared sense of brotherhood. So how do you actually make these incredible ideals a reality? Well, it's all about a brilliant design based on balance. On one side, you have your fundamental rights. These are guarantees of freedom and equality that you can actually enforce in a court of law. And on the other side, you have fundamental duties, the responsibilities we all share as citizens, the things that hold the nation together. All right, let's shift gears from the philosophy to the practical stuff. How does the Constitution actually organize the government to run a country of this size? I mean, how does it all work? Let's break it down. The Constitution sets up 3 separate pillars of government. First, you have the legislature, which is our parliament. Their job is to make the laws. Then you have the executive, that includes the president and prime minister, and their job is to implement those laws. And finally, the judiciary, our court system, which interprets the laws and makes sure justice is done. It's a classic system of checks and balances. But there's another really important part of this structure, and that's federalism. See, power isn't all held in one place. The Constitution very carefully divides power between the central government in Delhi and the governments of all the different states. So when you bring all of this together, you start to see that the Constitution is so much more than just a rulebook. It's really the ultimate guarantee of India's identity as a democracy. So what really makes India's constitution so unique? Well, first, its incredible level of detail. Second, the way it masterfully blends ideas from all over the world with India's own values. And third, its amazing balance. It's rigid enough to be stable, but flexible enough to be amended and change with the times. And honestly, this quote just says it all perfectly. The Constitution is not just a book. It is the guarantee of our freedom, our democratic identity, and the basis of our unity. You know, when we respect the Constitution, what we're really doing is respecting the very idea of a modern, united, and free India. And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about. This document isn't just some old thing sitting in a museum. It's a living, breathing book that continues to shape the lives of over 1 billion people every single day. So the real question is, what does this living book mean to you?